Dare call it conspiracy.
Again, big fans of the music, like your solo freestyles and Poisonous Poets as well, like legends. So yeah, again, this is one of the sort of good things about having a podcast is occasionally you get to speak to people that we like really really admire. So like, yeah, this is cool.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know really what we've got some sort of generic questions and stuff, but so we just have a chat unless there's anything you really want to speak about, mate. Like,
no, I'm here, like I'm along for the ride, bro. I'm fully involved in like the conspiracy stuff that you don't work around.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm absolutely fascinated by it. But the work you put in of like, don't be too hard on them. Do you know, like, because it's really easy to turn around to someone and just want to shake them and just be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that the way that you kind of like help people to get into it and like, all right, don't try the aggressive approach or the like antagonistic. Try and see it from their point of view, kind of thing. See where they might have, and it's just really good because, like I said, sometimes you just want to shake somebody. You know what I mean? You just like, what's wrong with you?
Oh yeah.
But
well, this is but this is sort of our angle on it. We both sort of came from that community. We were like really quite heavily involved with it, and like, you know, this is the thing. Like, the people involved with it are usually chill guys. A lot of them very into sort of like hip hop and like, you know, gangster films and that sort of stuff. You know, this sort of culture. Lots of people smoke a little bit and stuff like that. And most of the time they're just out there. They're trying to, you know, they want to make the world a better place, basically, don't they? This is the thing. So this is why they're looking at systems, and they've got a healthy skepticism of systems, because, like, I mean, this is the thing, right? Okay. Conspiracies absolutely do happen. It's 100% right to be skeptical and be wary of systems of control and large corporations and stuff like that. So that's not it. But I think it's a sort of multifaceted thing, isn't it? Like, you know, the internet it became a massive sort of thing for spreading these things. When we were into this, when we first started getting this, YouTube didn't even exist. Like, do you know? Yeah. So you had to like send off books and DVDs and stuff and actually bother to watch the entire thing and stuff. Whereas now you can just ping around like the sentences and stuff like that. So this is the thing. We've got to be a bit more involved with it in order to, if you want to like get people back on the right path, you've got to recognize the stupid things that you would have done yourself. Not stupid, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? The reasons that you'd want to get involved in these things, the reasons that you'd want to sort of spend hours and hours researching these sorts of things, and the sort of mindset that you have to get into in order to sort of in order to believe them. And again, the tricky thing is that some of them are true. So
that's it.
So this is the thing.
Some of them at least have a nugget of truth, you know. That's what we find.
But yeah,
well, that's the best way to get someone, is it? You don't tell someone a straight out lie. You tell them 90% lie, 10% truth.
Yeah.
And then that 10% truth is the bit that they latch onto, and then that slowly grows, and then that grows into 100% of something, and they've ignored the 90% that's not true. And they're just, everything is it's this based off this 10%, it's everything.
Yeah.
And it's a very, like, it can be dangerous, I guess.
Oh, totally.
You know, it can be quite dangerous. But yeah, it's like, I'm fascinated by it. Like, I used to be fully involved. Like, I love a good conspiracy theory. You know, like the whole moon landing type of thing. I remember being in school, we'd have books, like magazines, getting into it. No, because look, the flag doesn't move, and look what he says over here, and and you're like, and then like as a 15, 16, you're like, wow, they didn't go to the moon. And then you kind of you get a little older, and context is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Like, just wider context, and okay, you're so focused on that part that you haven't seen all of that bit over there. And then as soon as you get that context, you're like, oh, well, that kind of explains that part. All right, that kind of okay, so all right, we went to the moon. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's proper weird, man. But yeah, people just get fully sucked in. How long were you, like, if you don't mind me asking, how long were you just involved in it for?
Oh, you go first,
I
Brent.
myself was like I'd say a complete believer for like 15 years. So from 2003 to 2018, I was fully in, like, yeah, the Illuminati exist. They're a satanic cabal of pedophiles, and they run practically the entire world. The police are in their hands, the criminals are in their hands, everybody is in control, essentially. You know, so sometimes, like, you would drop lines, like you dropped the chemtrails, so you know, the poison lines over your head like chemtrails, and I was like, damn, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man.
Yeah. I thought, do you know what? It doesn't even occur to me that those things will have a different meaning depending on the listener.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of assuming that you just get the punchline. It's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than like
You're
thinking that,
speaking to me, bro. You're speaking to me.
Wow, that's so what led you out of it? What was it that made you think, I can't do this anymore?
A real long story, but essentially it was like, I can boil it down to watching politics actually be in play. All right, like, I used to believe, obviously, all the elections were completely rigged, like in UK, America, Europe, whatever. All of them are rigged because, like, the cult owns everything. So leaders are selected, not elected. Simple as. But like between 2015 and 18, I saw so much, like, political activism making shit happen, and it was like Trump, Brexit, and Corbyn, and these were all kind of things that were anti the New World Order, but it was real people actually putting it into play, and it's not a thing that the New World Order would allow to happen. So that was like, to be fair, like, that's kind of the things that really starts to really just make the entire thing start to crumble. Like you said, I get context for that, and then I start building context around everything else I kind of believe, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, man. Like, yeah, I think the context is everything. Because, I mean, there's just little things not conspiracies, but little things you think you know. And then you find out, then you learn a little bit more, and you get wider context. And you're like, the little nugget of the grain of truth that I thought I knew. Turns out I didn't really know anything. Now I know far more because I've looked into it and I've researched it a little more. I find it fascinating, man. How about yourself, bro?
Well, mine was slightly different because I was actually, just prior to COVID, I was working with, like, iconic David Icke, and was part of the scene, but because I wrote a couple of books about mind control and was interested in that sort of aspect of it. And what happened with me was basically, I started looking at Brexit and this thing called Cambridge Analytica, which is like, it's a manipulation program where basically they sort of feed you internet stuff in order to make you really angry, and ultimately it's there to try and sort of like direct your vote in a way. And I was like, no way, I've stumbled across a genuine, actual conspiracy. It's a real conspiracy. There's evidence, there's a plot, there's people behind it, there's even a sort of like religious evangelical movement that's connected to the oil industry that is sort of driving this for political and for, you know, monetary means, right? It's a real thing. No way, this is crazy. And I was fascinated by this and talking to everybody about it, and no one gave a shit. Absolutely nobody in the alternative media gave a shit because there was no lizard people, and it went against the existing trope. And the existing trope was that the EU is bad because the EU is the first step towards a new Nazi Europe. That is sometimes sometimes these great replacement theories, which is the opposite. But basically, the point was that it didn't fit in the milieu, and so nobody was bothered about it. And I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. This is a real thing. Hey ho, plug away. Then two things happened, right? One, COVID happened, and I literally witnessed people just ignoring reality because that better suited their audience. And I watched people within the industry lie to their audience because that's what their audience wanted to see. And I was like, this isn't what it's about. This is absolute fucking bullshit, basically. And it's dangerous. It is completely dangerous. And the combination of the ignoring reality and there's just the fucking stupidity around COVID, and then the willingness to spread that lie because that's saleable, because that's what the market, so to speak, wants to hear. I was like, I don't want to be involved in this no more. It was too much, basically, because to my mind, it went totally against the whole purpose of it. The whole purpose is to hold power to account, right? What's coming out now is what I was saying actually during COVID, is that the government don't give a shit about you. They're not trying to lock you down. They're not trying to imprison you. They're not trying to introduce experimental things or anything like that. They're trying to manage this for the financial betterment of their donors. That is the one and only driving factor in how they're dealing with this crisis. And lo and behold, as the inquiry is going on, this is basically what is being found. But that is exactly what it was. Again, alternative media did not want anything to do with that. They were on the sort of, oh, if we lock down now, we'll have to lock down forever. Viruses don't exist. I think that maybe it's the phone system that's killing everybody, stuff like that. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm done. This party's, it's got old. I'm bored with it. I'm walking away from it because it's not honest. Like, it's ridiculous. It's called the Truth Movement, and it's not. It's a collective, not always, again, right? But in the sort of hype, and when it gets to the sort of international, sort of famous sort of stuff, it's a collective LARP. It's pitting yourself as a freedom fighter, and usually for very good reasons, but often that involves going after the sillier things like QAnon and Pizzagate and stuff like that, because basically, they've got underground tunnels and aliens and stuff like that, as opposed to the real things like looking at something like the mishandling of the COVID situation that led to thousands of unnecessary deaths, or Grenfell, or why something like that should happen, or where all the money went and stuff like that. Genuine, actual conspiracies that affect you and I, that ultimately, again, we're going to be paying for through our taxes. But that's they were not interested in that, because
not sexy enough.
It's not sexy enough. This is the thing, and yeah, it annoys me, to be quite honest. But hey, sorry, that's my little rant for the evening.
Yeah, no, bro, I'm genuinely like, it makes perfect sense, man. How did you find like the fallout? Because I mean, you said you wrote books about stuff and whatnot. How was it from the people that were around you? How did they respond to
some of it? Some people are still quite like loyal, so to speak. They're fans, they're still fans and such like that. And they've actually even sort of gone along and gone, yeah, actually, some of the other stuff is a bit silly now. A lot of it was quite brutal. They immediately assumed that I've been got at by the government. It didn't help that a year ago today, basically, we were on a Panorama program talking about this very thing. And again, the irony of it was that I was on there to defend this guy who'd done this conspiracy about Manchester. And although I didn't agree with his theory, I was told, look, if you don't go on there and defend him, it's going to be no one defending him. So it's up to you. So I did. And I went on, and it didn't really work because nobody cared. So,
all they cared was that you was on there and you was with Mariana Spring, and that was evil.
And what I was saying was that this guy, although he's got it wrong, and although he's upset a lot of people, he's not gone out there to do that. He's not a troll or anything like that. He thinks of himself as like more of a journalist, like a Woodward and Bernstein, and he's uncovered this crazy thing, and he can't understand why the rest of the world can't see it, because he's trying to help you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like every sort of paranoid bloke in every film ever, like that's what he thinks is going off. It doesn't mean that he's not hurt some people. He doesn't need to apologize, but it explains it and humanizes it, because this is he'd done an Alex Jones, essentially. You know how Alex Jones had said that Sandy Hook was fake? He theorized, that Manchester was fake, which is obviously, shall we say, problematic in a number of
just a little.
Yeah, it's horrific, really. And the thing is, not to excuse him, but at the time, the climate within the alternative media, everything was fake all of a sudden, and for some stupid reason, and so. And Alex Jones was in the newspapers and like not actually getting any consequences. In fact, if anything, he was actually getting a boost, like a signal boost from and for a time, the more outrageous thing that you said, the more likely you were to get in the newspapers. Say that basically there was a guy that I knew said that aliens were going to invade the Olympics, got in the newspapers. Like this was the thing. There was another person that was talking about, I forget exactly, it was something to do with the Titanic, got in the newspapers, and so I don't know. There was this sort of furore that was coming from all angles, where I could actually get a bit of cachet and a bit of fame off this. Also, the audience at that time is really like going. I mean, you must know what it's like. Sometimes the audience, like it spurs you on to do stuff that you might not have done if they weren't there. And so this is what happened, really. And so I went on there to not to sort of to defend the action, but to defend the person. And people weren't happy with that at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it's interesting you say like about the COVID. Because it's like, I think $3 trillion that went from the poorest of society to the richest 1% of the world. And no one's batted an eyelid about it. No, and if you want a conspiracy, there's that's a genuine conspiracy. The same with the the PPE.
Yeah.
Like, where has the money gone? It's like 32 billion. Where has the money gone? And no one's talking about it. The usual conspiracy theory, the people who I know who love a conspiracy theory, like my brother's one of them. He loves it. He used to tell me a thing about, maybe you've heard of this one, but like people finding wires under their skin.
What's it called? Thank you.
Say that again.
Disease, is it?
Oh, that might be the one. But a few years ago, he was telling me about this thing, and he was telling me there's all this research and and I thought, you said stuff like this before. Let me give it 2 or 3 years, and then we'll see if you still remember having said this. But then he'd moved on to something else by then, and it wasn't. I don't remember saying that. I don't remember that. But it's like, there's an actual real thing where all of this money, your money, our money, taxpayers' money, has just been snatched away, siphoned off, and people are just like. And that's the kind of thing that really is that, because again it's not sexy.
Because sorry to cut you off, but it's even more annoying than that, because basically within the alternative and conspiracy milieu, that is like a headline, but it's always the caveat, because basically it's like, the greatest wealth transfer from poor to rich ever, but Andy was a fake pandemic, and it's like, oh, for Christ's sake, you were so close, but. And then that's not what they're interested in. They're interested in the fake pandemic and then vaccines or whatever. But so that does get slightly mentioned. But this is the thing. That's the thing that everybody should be focusing on, because as you say, it's a real conspiracy, and it's the actual evidence.
It's like literally it happened. It happened.
Exactly. I think that the problem comes because that's been slightly on the news, though. That is considered the distraction. And you've got people so wound up and contrary to the point where if it says on the news that it's raining, they'll go, no, it's not. What's big weather trying to hide? It's clearly not. I'm not looking outside to check. I know that it's not raining because it says that it is raining on the television. And that was what happened with COVID. It says there's a pandemic, and everyone went, well, there's not then. And it's mental, absolutely crackers.
It was global. I saw a stand-up comedian, and he said everyone's talking about this is a conspiracy, it's a fake pandemic, and all the leaders have got together. And he was like, bro, we can't agree on plugs. You can't take a plug from England and go anywhere in Europe, Asia, Africa, and you can't do it. but somehow they've come together. And I like, it was really, I know it was tongue in cheek, but it was kind of like really, yeah, bro, like think about it.
Well,
these people genuinely hate each other.
Yes,
They're trying to get one up. Like massive countries are at war currently.
Yeah.
And you think that it wouldn't be like, oh no, they're lying to you. Here's the evidence. Like what some country would come out and get the whole world on their side. But it's like, bro, look, think. Like, do you know it?
No,
yeah, it's crazy.
That's right. You saying about they hate each other is something I learned after coming out of the rabbit hole. I could actually watch them actually hating each other, like not wanting each other to be in power, and just like the backstabbing, all of that. And it just, I don't know, it just all of a sudden became, oh, this isn't a facade. Like I did used to think all of it was a facade, you know, like they just were playing, but I can genuinely see they hate each other.
Well, the problem is, isn't it? There's that sort of circular logic that is like, in order for them to massively coordinate everything, then all this surface tension or this surface hate must be fake, which implies that behind the scenes everything's like totally controlled, and that's the answer. Like the answer is the thing that isn't actually visible, that we don't know to be true, is the explanation for how they've done it and appeared not to do the opposite. It's batshit. And this is the thing. It's like when you start to look at certain conspiracies, like you kind of did with the moon landing or whatever earlier, and you go, like we did with Epstein, right? Okay, now, don't get me wrong, right? I'd have loved it if we'd have thought that he'd been murdered. But when you start to look at it, you go, all right, well, hang on. Who got into his room? How? What was the seriously, how was it done? And we came down to the conclusion that actually it doesn't really matter, right? He shouldn't have been given the opportunity to. He should have gone to trial. In many ways, the fact that he's dead, whether he did it by himself or not, is not important. What's important was how he was allowed to be able to die and not face his accusers or not go to trial and not sort of like speak to the wider potential conspiracy, right? So, but when you actually look at it, you go, all right, okay, you'd have to have got someone into the prison. Is there any evidence that someone got into the prison? No. Is there any evidence that any other prisoners got out of their cell? No. Is there any evidence that anyone was in the cell with him or anything like this? No, there's not. Like, and that's how you've got to sort of break it down. Like, basically, you've got to try and sort of like, if it's based on these 4 pillars or whatever, if that one's not true and this one's not true and this one isn't true and we don't know about this one, then does it figuratively hold any weight, basically?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you break something down like that to someone, how receptive do you find people? I guess like some people are willing to follow, but like if you break it down like those 4 pillars, and you're like, all right, that one. Some people will be like, do you know what? That makes sense. I'm with you. Like, how is it for the people who look at that and then they say, like, how do you deal with those people who are just adamant that it is this, even though I can't explain that, I can't explain that or that, but I still believe? How do you go about helping them, I guess?
I mean, just by being kind, really, and just like, I mean, there are a certain amount of people that are never going to get that.
Kindness wins every time.
I mean,
I just prefer hitting them over the head with it over and over and over. To be fair, when it's on Twitter, nah. It depends. I mean, the good faith or bad faith, doesn't it, really, Neil?
Yeah. I mean, in as much as, right, okay, you've got to go, all right, fine, and just not. If you like that person or whatever, you've got to just like, it's okay to disagree, right? Do you know what I mean? It's not that important a lot of the time. If you think that and I think this, I go, right, okay, well, look, I like lots of music that you think is stupid, right? Let's just think of it like that. And then hopefully then you'll get another one. And this is what happens, because the problem is as well, is like you're attacking a lifestyle. This is something where basically people have got a community and they've got friends and they've got an identity based out of this. So if you suddenly snatch that away from them, right, okay, they're not going to like that. And also, again, this is an action that's born out of wanting to do good in the world, right? So if you're like kind of kicking them in the balls over something where basically they're like, do you know what? I could have been out fucking doing anything, right? Okay. Instead, I was actually in here reading this and trying to make the world a better place. And now you're telling me that I was tricked. Well, like, cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you frame it. And like one of the things that sort of got me into the sort of the other side of it is when you're into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, you like working things out, like you like getting answers. Do you think of the world as like a bit of a puzzle or whatever? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you're kind of doing it the opposite way, it's kind of like undoing the magic trick. So do you know what I mean? So if you can frame it in that way, where basically you're learning why people thought that, not whether that's true or not, but why people thought that and stuff like that, and then you can start to sort of to build it up like that and go, oh, you know how I used to know that Satanism is dry in the Capitol building because of X, Y, and Z. Well, now I know why people thought that, and it's not, it's something different or whatever. Okay. However, and this is the important thing, like what you were speaking about just now, basically, once you dismiss all that nonsense and stuff like that, once you dismiss COVID isn't real, that the vaccines aren't a bioweapon designed to kill you and stuff like that, then you can look at the actual conspiracies, which is that, again, people needlessly died because of the mismanagement of it. Money was embezzled and misappropriated, and essentially, yeah, like, you know, that's the real conspiracy, and the real world conspiracies. They don't have aliens in them, like, or underground tunnels. Well, sometimes they have underground tunnels, like, but not often. And so, like, so yeah, that kind of like that. But it's one of these really where, as you said, there is a certain person that is never going to come out of that. Like, they're just not going to. And the more that you show them something, the more that they'll just double down. Or more than likely, what they'll do is the usual thing is like, oh, well, you're a government agent, or you're 77th, which is like this internet thing. It's just a way of like dismissing an argument, basically. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like, so you do get that a lot. Brent gets it far more than me because Brent's more sort of active on Twitter, but
Twitter is no place to go for like critical thinking or emotional intelligence or people who recognize their own bias. Like, you just check that at the door before you get onto Twitter. It's incredible sometimes, some of the stuff you see.
You know what, though? I don't wish to get all conspiratorial, right? Okay, but it's fucking designed like that. It's designed to do that, right? Okay, it is. No, it is, right? It's a game, right? And the point of the game is to stay in the game forever, right? And how it does that, like gambling, it gives you a dopamine hit. Every time you say something, like, you get a little bit hit of dopamine. And here's the fucked thing, right? Okay. You get dopamine hits from either being happy because someone's agreed with you or being angry because you disagree with someone else. Yeah. So, you know, like Fox News and stuff like that, right? Okay. They know that's their business model. Rat-a-tat-tat opinion things that get people going, believe this, Daily Mail, that sort of stuff. Like, it's all like made to sort of make the blood boil. And in a similar way, social media is designed to do that. It's like gambling, but you're gambling with social information. And here's the messed up thing as well, is that the more that you stay on there, the more your brain starts to go, you get more dopamine if you do this. You get, and so it's going to drive you one way or the other. So you're either going to be in an angry echo chamber, getting dopamine like that, or you're going to mold your personality to say things that people like, and you're going to get your dopamine fix like that. And and the scary thing is that basically the people who were making this, they knew this when they were designing it. They realized that this is a good tool to market people, basically, and that's even before you start getting into sort of all the disinformation and misinformation on there, like, you know, so yeah, it's a mess. Like, bloody hell. Like, in many ways, we were quite lucky because we can at least remember a time when it wasn't there, so you can compare it and go sort of like, I give a shit if I'm not on Twitter for a couple of days or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? For some kids, I assume it's their life. It's where they have their social interaction. I was saying this like the other day. It's like my mate's kid. He spends it. Like, what are you doing? Go and hang out with your mates. And he's like, no, we're having a hangout on FIFA or whatever. And I'm tempted to give the little sod a bottle of cider and a fucking hammer and tell him, like, go down the park now, right? Because there is an age when hijinks become criminality, and you don't want to miss that. Like, it's an important stage of your life, isn't it?
It's a learning process that be there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
can't do it. Like, it looks bad going hedge hopping when you're like 35. Like, it's sinister. It's more difficult to explain away, like, than when you're 14. So you need to get these things out of your system. But
that's funny, because I tell my kids that, like, when my kids were small, I'd like, make as much noise as you want, because there's gonna be a point where it's just unacceptable for you to make noise. You're gonna get to an age, and it's not all right for you to make noise like that anymore. So see why you're like, take advantage. Like, the way, do you know how I see it? See the swings in the park. Swings are like the greatest invention known to man. Keep your internet, keep the game of football, keep Premier League, put me on a swing and just let me go back and forward, right? I do that happily for hours. Now I'm 45 years old. I'll look like a lunatic sitting on a swing, right? There's a proper narrow window when you've got the opportunity to do it. I was going to say, thing, man.
Get your own swing in your own back garden. But then as I thought that through, that's even worse. Like, imagine the neighbours just watching. Is Tony on his swing again? Fair enough. Like
I'm some sort of Pied Piper trying to get like, hey, you want to come and play on me swing? Come on, it's all right. Oh man, that's wow. But yeah, give him the cider and a hammer, bro.
Yeah, we'll do. It's Christmas, isn't it? So that's what I'll get him. Yeah. But yeah,
I can just imagine his dad's face on Christmas morning as he unwraps a big bottle of white lightning and a hammer.
He'd love it. It'd bring back memories. Like, but this is the thing. Like, but as we see, grown adults can't cope with the internet. So God knows our children are good. Like, it would. I am so glad that I'd never had Twitter when I was like 18, because some of the stupid shit I would have said, like, and been proud of it. Gone, and what? Yeah. If you can't deal with that, like, and only later thinking, oh my God, what an idiot. Like, so it's
I'm happy I grew up before the internet age, like way. And like, I see certain kids, they record themselves committing crimes.
Yes.
And I'm like, who's raised you? Like, because like the number one criteria for criminality is don't get caught. Like, don't tell anybody that you did it. And these kids are like, yeah, look what we do. We're out here doing crime. You're like, bro, they're gonna put you in jail, and they're gonna rightfully put you in jail because you're filming yourself doing it.
Yeah,
it's a weird time.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? A lot of this is the thing, but it's almost as if it's not real unless it's on the screen. Like, this is the thing. Like, and there's a reflection of that, like in everywhere. Like, I'll give you an example. It might sound a bit silly, but like our town centre, like in Nottingham, there's, like everywhere, dying shops and stuff like that. What you've got is a load of restaurants, and all the restaurants have got glass windows, because it strikes me that the point of it is not to be there and have the experience. It's to be seen having the experience. Yeah. Which is a sort of weird fucking Blade Runner way of living life, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where the sort of reality is almost secondary to other people's viewing of that reality, or you're being able to retell that back. Here you go. Look on my Insta. Look at like how fabulous my life was in the past. Even though it's like 10 minutes ago, it's still like everyone's living on dead memories, basically. What a bleak way to think of it. Like,
and I think it's kind of accurate though, to be honest. I like it. It is that thing. It's like why sometimes on my Twitter I'll point out when it's been a bad day, or when something's not gone quite right, or when because it's important. I know I have a following. I know people who like I've got X amount of 1,000 followers, and I know a lot of them think like, oh, he raps and he does this battle rap, so everything is that battle rap. Like, that's not my world. Like I do one battle a year. I've done one battle a year for the last 4 years. So that's 364 days that I'm not doing that thing. Like, life is not always like that. And I think it's important to show people that, like, yeah, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I've got bills to pay. I've got this, and like things are not going that, like, it could be way better. You know, but just to show people, you know, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't think because you see me on a screen from time to time that it's different. Like, I live the same life you do. I have to go to work in the morning. I've got a mortgage to pay. Like, these are the things you have to do. And I think it's kind of like influencers on social media never show that part of life.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, and it's really important to let people know, because, and like, I work in year 6, so I've got a lot of like 10 and 11-year-olds who they consume this media and think they have an idea of what life should be like, because their life should be like these people here. Why are their parents' lives not like these people on the screen?
Yeah.
So they're going to do their best to have a life like this. And I'm trying to explain to them, that's not real.
No.
Like, look at that. It's a photo. It's just one photo. That's a second. There's like, do you know what I mean? There's 1,440 minutes in a day, and you've taken a second out of it. The rest of his day could have been absolutely terrible, but you're just looking at this timestamp, this frame here, and it will have I'm pretty sure it will have a detrimental effect over the next 10 to 20 years, man. When the real younger generation grows up and goes into adulthood, man, I'm kind of worried for it a little bit.
Well, I mean, if you think about sort of like how realistic everyone's prospects were when we were kids, like he knows as much as, like, you kind of thought in the back of your mind, I probably won't have to do this work shit for very long because I don't know whether the universe has figured out, but I'm quite special, and and I'll probably get a brilliant job doing something really creative and fun and blah 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 blah, and then when you realise that you have to do the entry level and you have to grind through it and shit like that. And our aspirational heroes were in sort of magazines and stuff like that, Hollywood and blah, 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 blah. Like, these guys are in their pockets. Like, do you know what I mean? And they act as if they're their friends, and kind of with the influencers as well. Like, you know, the cultivating of this parasocial relationship is the sort of marketing thing. Like, who is it that, like, that your, like, kids are actually into then? Who are the influencers that are sort of popular?
There's a kid, I don't know how to say his name, Kat Senai. I don't know, but he was at the Ballon d'Or yesterday shaking hands with Haaland.
Right.
But yeah, he's like quite a popular one. To be honest, I try to stay over. They show me this stuff, and I'm like, I get, it's too much information. Like, I can't keep it all on. But it's essentially just YouTubers. There are people who just play games. That's what they do. And they are super. If you're between the age of like 6 and 16, these people are massive to you. Like, and it's literally, they just play games. And the worst thing I think for me is they're not particularly intelligent people.
No.
I think that's the part that really gets me. Like, because you've got, I don't know, 20, 30 million children following you on this platform. And like, they just spout stuff.
Yeah.
And these kids believe it. And there's not like, there's no research done. You don't know if that's true. You don't even offer an opposing argument to it. You just say this stuff. And then a bunch of 11-year-olds are listening like, yeah, he said it must be true. And then they're building their own narrative around this. They're building a lifestyle around this thing. And it's like, it's all going to come tumbling down.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's really going to hurt these kids. These kids are going to come out into the real world and be like, oh, how do I now deal with this? The fact that none of this was true. I'm not special.
Yeah.
I can't just get a YouTube channel and blow up the way he did. I don't have that. Whatever it is that it takes to make that thing happen. The stroke of luck, even perhaps. Because luck is a bigger factor than any successful person will like to give credit for. Like, luck is a really important factor in it. But yeah, if you're not that lucky, if you just don't happen to get that, how do you? And a lot of these kids don't have the emotional resilience to then say, oh, well, it didn't work out like that. Well, back to the drawing board. Yeah. Maybe I'll just try this again, or I'll listen to someone else. This crushes them, absolutely crushes them. And yeah, it's a weird situation.
The irony of that, right, is that who is popular, like in the sort of YouTube sphere, they pick up like the sort of broader audience just on the sort of the fact that they're popular. They've got popular by appealing to children. And then that feedback loop is just stuff that appeals to children. So all of their older audience are still emulating this advice, which is directed and aimed at impressing children. And that's really, really dangerous, isn't it, when you think about it like that? Because like basically, again, like where's the sort of growth and where's the incentive to teach kids hard work as well? There really isn't, because as you say, it's easy to go, I do this, because that's what struck me. It's like when I watched a few of these sort of podcasts where it's just some people sat around a desk, some young people, disgustingly young, and I'm sat there thinking, listening to it, who the fuck cares what these people think? Like these, like, but that's your answer. It's 11-year-olds.
It's children. Yeah, it's children.
And the thing is, as well, it's probably deeper than that, because they only care about that because some marketing company has told them this is the person that you should care about, which is even worse. I mean, to an extent, right? Did everyone see the girl that was crying because she realised that if you go to work 9 to 5, then you haven't got to think. Now, I had mixed feelings about that, because she's right. She's absolutely right.
She was bang on.
Yeah.
She was 100% bang on. There isn't a work-life balance. No. It's not how it is. Nope. And the main people who were really angry at her were all the people, the older generation, who sucked up the fact that there wasn't a work-life balance and just said, well, this is how it is.
Yeah.
And like, you've got a generation who says, well, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And they're right. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't have to go to work 5 days or work 2 jobs. Or, that's not how it goes. Like, some people don't have a job. Some people have 2 jobs. We can balance that out somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
Like, she was bang on. She was on the money. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're absolutely right. But the thing was, I think those people were trying to talk about, they were criticizing her for her ideology, right? Where she's actually, she is like the ideological, but she's criticizing the system. But the problem is that everybody's in the system, and you're knackered as well. I've got to the point where it's like, I don't know if I can be asked to smash the state. I might, like give it a dig in the ribs or something like that. But like, bloody hell, I've got stuff to be getting on with. Like, so
he's playing up.
Yeah, precisely. Like, it's like it's done quite late, like, but but this is the tragedy, isn't it? That I remember vividly having a conversation, almost like a nervous breakdown, with my mum when I was sort of early teens, where I worked out that, hang on, if I get paid X, that means that logically my boss must be making more than me, otherwise why would he hire me? And it's like, who knew? As a little Marxist. But I also remember my mum getting really angry at me, because it's like, there's nothing you could do about it. Like, you do realise there's nothing you could do about it, or there's nothing you can do about it immediately. Is the thing. Like, we need to have a revolution. But that meeting's next week down by the docks, isn't it? So, so that's still on the back burner. But yeah, so like in the sort of like hip hop and battle world, like conspiracy culture, does it run quite thick through it?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's quite a prominent flat earther in the UK battle rap scene.
Is that allegedly Dave's son?
Yes,
I know Dave.
Do you?
Yeah.
So, well, his son, he's
very good.
Like he's so good. He's so good. But do you know what's so funny to me is that I honestly think, as creative as he is, he has to have his level of intelligence got to be somewhere up here.
Yeah.
And then I hear him say this stuff, and I'm like, those two things don't match for me. Like, to be that good at rapping, you've got to be this smart. And then to believe this, I don't know. I can't marry the two things together at all.
I got an answer for you. It's the creativity itself.
Yeah.
The creativity and being intelligent. You're able to imagine something, and then you're smart enough to convince yourself of it.
Yeah.
Like, that is what I think is going on. That's what I think was going on with
Well,
myself.
this is the thing, Tony, because like you'd assume that, particularly with a lot of conspiracy theories, and like everything, like you do get some people who are like a bit thick or like whatever, like anything, like, but a huge amount of people that are into conspiracy is actually quite nerdy, quite bright, interested in really, really sort of like complicated things, just sort of like a bit left field and stuff like that. So it can happen, like basically, like I mean, Christ, who is that? Oh Christ! Who's the Bobby Fischer, the chess champion, who he was an absolute grandmaster genius. I think he played against Deep Blue, that computer, and he became convinced of a world Jewish conspiracy, and is still like convinced of it. So yeah. In fact, we did a joke about that. We said that Kanye West was the Bobby Fischer of pigeon chess.
See, context. You need a couple of bits of context to make that joke work.
Yeah.
That's a good.
But yeah. So so he's a thing. Like the only other one I've seen is this overtly about it is Disaster, obviously, which is a different league. He's very sort of
he's some of the stuff I've heard him say is kind of like, all right, I'm not going to get into a conversation with you because there's so much energy in this. Like he's very passionate no matter what he does. Yeah. And I'm not able for him to bombard me with that.
You're like I just won't be able to. You're like super cool and laid back and just chill, bro. What?
Yeah, it's too much. But I think like in hip hop, in UK hip hop, I would say there's far more they lend conspiratorial kind of goes into UK hip hop more than UK battle rap.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anti-vaxxers
in
UK hip. Yeah, there's a lot of Illuminati, full belief in the Illuminati and certain secret societies and stuff. This is a big theme in UK hip hop.
Yeah. I can kind of get that because it's like, you know, depending on the level of your belief, like it becomes like a euphemism or sort of shorthand for corporate takeover, corporate controlled, you know, old money, that type of stuff. And then at the very, very extreme, it actually means, no, I'm actually talking about the physical embodiment of Lucifer on Earth. Like they have monthly meetings, they have letter-headed paper, like they're well into it. Like so yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I think because like UK hip hop is on the fringes of mainstream, it's very counterculture, and I think conspiracies kind of tend to just follow on that same thing. It's outside of the mainstream. It's what people who don't want to do what they don't want to listen to what their parents did.
Yeah.
And they want to find their own little community. And it's very much full of people like that.
Yeah.
In its own little counterculture. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with like the conspiracy mindset. Yeah. I think they kind of marry quite well. But yeah, anti-vaxxers, that's quite a prominent one, of the Illuminati. I'm not sure. I don't know how many flat earthers there are in UK hip hop. As I said, I know there's one for certain in battle rap. I don't know how it extends across the UK hip hop kind of thing, but they're a bunch of weirdos. I mean, like I was gonna talk yesterday. Like, do you ever sit back and think about how weird you are? Like, just individually. Like, sometimes I'm just be in my house by myself and just do something. Like the other day, I caught myself doing it. I went to open the oven, and as I did it, I just went hooty hoo for no reason at all. No reason. And as I opened the oven, I realized what I'd done, and I was like, "Why did I do that? Like, what made me do that?" But that's not the only time I do it. I make that same noise quite frequently.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
follow your bliss, bro. Follow your bliss. If it makes you happy, do it.
Yeah,
I do stupid, crazy, weird shit all the time.
You know, but that's the thing. It's you have to embrace your weirdness. You've got to. Well, I'm fully weird, man, and I love it. You know, so I'm not mad at other people who are weird as long as your weirdness is not hurting people. Go for it, man.
Yeah, totally. That's interesting the way that you frame it, though, because I think that's right. I think it's more a sort of like an attitude, like an anti-mainstream attitude. Like, and it depends again. Depends how cruel or which angle you want to look at it from. If you're not interested in the mainstream, you're driven to the sorts of things where someone might go, you ever read this David Icke book? You ever seen this Alex Jones thing? You ever seen this documentary about how Jack the Ripper was a Freemason or JFK or whatever? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the flip side of that, which is I think where it gets too far, is where looking at everything that's not mainstream is because you are rejecting the mainstream because you feel that the mainstream has in some way rejected you. Like in a sort of like, nah, that's bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Like with Flat Earth, I've always like said this, and I don't wish to be totally cruel, but it's like if the rest of the world was wrong about something as fundamental as the shape of the planet, then they were wrong when they appraised me as a bit of a loser. So do you know what I mean? Like, and when they find out that the Earth is actually flat, they'll think that I'm brilliant, and maybe Carol will let me see the kids again. Like, so, and it's not always like that. There's the very extreme end of it, but basically, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of boils down to that. What about in the sort of in the classroom and with the like? Is there a conspiracy culture there, or are they surprisingly like this is bullshit? Like,
no, I tell you what. Hold on, he's in my year 6 class now, and this one he was in year 2. A little kid, I nearly said his name. This little,
I'm sure it's edited,
right? And I was reading. We used to get these little newspapers for classrooms, right? They're just for school kids to read, and the class teacher used to bring them in. And he was looking at one of them. We used to do it every morning, and there was just a little thing about NASA and space. And he was in year 2, which would have made him 6. I'm going to say 5 or 6, maybe 6, 7. But he was looking at it and he said, space is fake. My dad told me.
Oh, no.
No way.
And do you know, like, he's in year 2. He's barely up to waist height.
Yeah.
And he's like, space is fake. And the funniest thing is that I spoke to him about it this term that has just gone. And he believes in space now.
Oh, good.
He believes space is a real thing. Like there's people send rockets, there's a moon, do you know what I mean? Like you can go up there and stuff. But I had to ask him because it had been like 4 years. And I thought, I wonder if he still thinks that space is not real. Do you know what I mean? Like space is fake. So I put it to him and I asked him, and he was like, nah, I believe in space. Space is real. He didn't even remember telling me that space wasn't real.
He knows it's real because of the aliens. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's gone too far the other way. Yeah, that is a tricky one, isn't it? Like, just like I've seen that as well within the sort of conspiracy world. People sort of like proudly saying and it's always either flat Earth or something to do with medicine. And it's always these are the 2 things of all the things you could have picked. Like, be honest, right? Okay, it doesn't really matter if like little Johnny thinks that reptilians rule the planet. Like, all right, whatever. Like, okay, but if he's not taking medicine because he thinks he's got a biochip in him, like, do you know what I mean? This is where
it becomes really dangerous.
Yeah, this is the thing, and like I said, that was the thing that really, really annoyed me about the alternative media. Is like they picked a horse and they're like, no, we're going with this one. We're going with this one all the way, and they're still doing it. Like there's still very, very prominent people like David Icke and stuff who's still saying like, COVID inquiry. When are they going to admit that COVID never existed? It's like, dude, like, come on, like. Get a different, and you know what's really stupid is like, it's a pride thing. Someone like David Icke has got such a following that he could pivot to something else, right? And nobody would ever remember this. They'd just be he's on about Sebastian Frankis now. He's telling us that the moon is a spaceship and whatnot. Fine, whatever. There must be a reason that these people are still like flogging that dead horse of there's no such thing, and it's because they know they're wrong and they're trying to convince themselves that they're right. Do you know what I mean? You know, like when you've done something terrible and you go to your mate like, God, dude, no, seriously, no, let's keep talking about it. If we can keep talking about it until somehow I frames me as the hero, like then
alleviates me of all blame and responsibility. I am the winner.
Yeah, before the night's over, actually, they owe me some money. Like, I don't think I owe them an apology at all. Like, so yeah, this is the problem, isn't it? But
you say David Icke. Archaic was a big follower of David Icke.
how was he?
Was he?
Yes, he used to go to his shows.
Shit.
Like, yeah, he bought the books. He was deep into it. And he told me this on we had a really fleeting conversation where he dropped it like, oh, yesterday was Tuesday. You know, like he just said it like it was a normal thing. And I was like, hold on a minute. And then we never got back to the conversation. Like other things happened and whatnot. But he'd probably be a guy to get on.
Yeah.
He would be a good shout to get on because, yeah, he did. He was fully into it. He followed. Funnily enough, I was with him in Brixton, and we went past the academy, and he was like, "Yeah, I went to see David Icke here, man."
I was at that show.
Was you?
Yes.
So yeah, he'd be a good guy because he was, again, someone who was fully into it. I'm pretty sure he's not into it anymore.
What was the thing that he said to you?
Yeah. We definitely.
No, he was just told me.
He told you that he was into David Icke.
Yeah, that he was bang into it, and then he'd come to Brixton. He'd like watch the show that he had there, and yeah, he used to be fully, like he said, not the only show. Brixton wasn't the only one. He'd been like around the country.
Oh wow!
Around to watch him say his stuff, whatever the stuff it is that he says. He's into the lizards, right?
Yeah.
David, that's the people.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Among other greats.
Some old arc files now and try and pick out some of the lines.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's funny you talk about the vaccine though. Today, we had autism training. It's the inset day today, so no kids, and we had autism training in the morning. And the woman's coming and she's got a big projector up, and it says, "What are the myths and truths surrounding autism?" And one of the things was vaccines cause autism. So I'm sitting on the table, and I was like, "All right, that one's a myth." And the lady next to me, and I still can't get my head around it. She said, "No, that one's true." Because my niece had a vaccine and then she got cancer.
Right, okay, yeah.
And yeah, and I was just kind of, okay, I'm not going to speak to you anymore. Like,
there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? It's difficult to call someone a fucking idiot when they've just expressed that their niece has got cancer, like, but yeah. I would have been so tempted. And like, so yeah, like, oh wow, that's tricky. That is.
Yeah, it was, and it was, the funny thing was that, like, it was the vaccines that caused autism, right? And I watched I think it's H Bomber guy.
Yeah.
I watched like a 3 hour.
Oh yeah. It's excellent, that one. Yeah.
That he did on that, and his research was thorough, like very thorough. Oh yeah, and I mean the guy's been struck off. He's been thoroughly debunked by a lot of different people.
Andrew Wakefield,
yeah. So I knew, okay, that one's not true. That's a myth that a vaccine's called autism. And then she said, no, that one's true. All right, where were you going with this? And then it came to cancer. I'm like, that's not even an option on the board. It's not on there. It's like, that wasn't there. It didn't say vaccines cause cancer, true or myth. It said autism. And then you just like, yeah. And the funny thing is that I've seen another colleague of mine, when COVID first hit, she was convinced it was 5G. And I'll never forget standing just in the corridor listening to her and just trying to explain to her, like, do you want, like, go and just look at what 5G is and what 4G is, and then try to put those two things together, because that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. But you find these are, like, some of these are educated people. Yeah. They teach other people's children. You know, and then sometimes you hear them say something and you're like, I'm glad you are not responsible for the curriculum. You know, I'm glad that this is just a staff room chat rather than you putting this into the minds of kids. But it's like, it was just so strange. And again, like, critical thought, putting two ideas together, like, okay, cancer, autism, vaccines, and somehow in her mind,
she connected
that all made perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and I just left it. I tell you what, I'm going to turn my chair. And I'm going to focus all of my energy this way. Like, I couldn't do it, man.
But it's interesting the way that you put it, that, right? Because the thing is, although that doesn't make sense to anybody else, the reason that that's like a comforting thing to her is because it's closed the loop. She's got an explanation for why her niece got cancer now, right? Okay, and so in a similar way, going back to what you're saying right at the beginning, was like, how do you like convince people of stuff? You close the loop in a different way. So basically, if they say something like, well, you know, chemtrails are definitely real because we found aluminium in the soil, you need to provide another plausible explanation for why that aluminium's there, basically. Like, you know what I mean, and close the loop in a different way. And in that way, you can hopefully sort of like move people away. Again, some people aren't going to, because like the reason, again, that a lot of people have, like, not just conspiracy beliefs, all types of beliefs. It's a shorthand for, I don't know, and it troubles me that I don't know. So I just need to have something where I can just go, that's that, good. Don't have to think about that anymore. And like, you know, just get on with your day, basically. So, right. But
yeah, so like a way of controlling things that you can't control.
Exactly that. Yeah, this is the thing. And the problem is that we live in a world now where basically you can't control anything, and you're bombarded with like a billion messages every like every second, basically, and you've got a constant audience because you're on social media who probably don't care what you're doing, but in your mind you think, oh, they're expecting me to react in a way. What if I can't leave this? I can't be punked by this person who said something, who I've never met. I don't even know what country they're in. Like, and this is the thing, like, you know, so it's a tricky old world. I think it's like being a teacher, particularly with young kids. Like, it's really admirable because God, it's a scary world out there. It terrifies me, and I'm an adult. Like, so, you know, and these kids, they're just they're immersed in it, aren't they? Poor sods.
Yeah, and they're just soaking it all in, and like, I think again, like, wider context and stuff, but where you would have had, like, we're roughly the same ages, sort of. We're all pre-internet.
Yeah.
So where you would have had to find a book or a map, you would have had to go and find the literature. You would have had to go and seek it out and search for it, and then and take it all in. And then in looking for it, you would find, all right, well, here's another book on the subject, or here's something else, and that would take you further. Now it's several bits of information, as you said, per second. So they're taking this bit and they're not thinking about it. They're just saying, oh, that's true. Someone said it is true. And then it gets pushed aside, and the next bit of information comes in. Oh, that's true. And that gets pushed aside, then it's the next bit. And they're not thinking about these things. So they're getting contradictory messages.
Yeah.
But they're all true.
Yeah.
They're all true because they're coming so fast. They don't have time to think about it and analyze it and kind of, all right, well, how did this go in? And like research. I mean, you lot must know the amount of people who do like YouTube research.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you know what sources are? Do you know what peer review means? How, like, you're citing things that you
don't understand.
They're just completely, like, I read on Facebook years ago, right? That they stopped making vinyl records because when you play a vinyl record, carbon is released into the air. Now, melanin absorbs carbon, so black people were getting stronger by listening to records, right? So they got rid of vinyl, right? This is a whole thing that I read, and I thought, I have to find out more about it. So I started doing my Googles, and then what I discovered was it was actually another loop, right? So the original article sent me to a different article that sent me to another article that linked me back to the original article. And it just went round and round like that. So then I thought, all right, how do I get out of this and look into something? Then what I did discover is that carbon is emitted when you play, when you put a needle on a vinyl record, carbon is emitted. In order for it to have any effect on a human, you would have to listen, to do nothing else but listen to a vinyl record for like 1,000 years. You just have to put it on, press play, and then even then, what you feel would just be negligible because things don't work like that. You know, like, it's not how it goes. But it was one of those things, when I saw it, I thought, I'm fully intrigued. I have to know more about that. And then looking at the loop, like, well, then it's not right, is it? The person who's telling me is sending me all the way around just to come back to him again.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, they don't research things in that way, or they're stuck in the same little bubble where it's the same 5 people telling them the same thing. And they're like, well, it's not just him, it's him as well. And it's him. So 3 of them can't be wrong, can they? And you're like, well, fair enough.
No, you're spot on, mate. Oh, you know, one of the annoying parts about research as well is quite a lot of it is spent reading something, getting to the end of it and going, yeah, that was no use at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. But at least I've eliminated it from the pile, basically. So but yeah.
During COVID, one of my friends sent me a WhatsApp message, an article about was it what the vaccine did? Something to do with what the vaccine was doing. And within the first line, there were 3 words I did not know. I did not know what those 3 words meant. So I just messaged him back. I don't know what that means. Can you explain those? He didn't know what it meant either. But he was absolutely convinced that this article had all the information telling you what the vaccine was doing to you. And literally in the first line, 3 words. I had no clue what they were, and nor did he. And how'd you like?
But yeah,
absolutely.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Like, you know, everyone's a shorthand expert, or everyone's this thing. Like, yeah, there's these really fashionable at the minute to just like, oh, I'm not interested in what experts are in. You said, but they're the experts. They're cluesing the title. Like, it's like, but yeah.
It's
well, we can
right
blame
there.
the Tories, can't we? We can blame all.
Yeah, it was Michael Gove, right?
Exactly.
So Gove came out with it. Yeah, we've had enough of experts, and it's what do you mean? Even as a sentence, just that sentence. How do we live in a real world, man? How is this real that you can say we've had enough of experts and no one bats an eyelid? A lot, and the media class were like, well, maybe we have had enough.
Yeah.
No, what are you talking about?
These people, these correct people telling us facts and with just unerring accuracy. We're sick of it. Just bored to tears of it. I bet. It's
like I said, my brother will tell me there's a gay agenda in school. They're trying to make the kids gay. And bro, one, that's not how homosexuality works at all. Like you can't make somebody gay. That's number one. Second of all, I work in a primary school. You haven't been in one since 1984. Like 84 was the last time you was in a primary school, and you know that there's a gay agenda. Yet you're telling me who works in a primary school, and you're convinced of it, and you're not listening to me at all. And again, it's just that, like, where are you going with this? How did you get this information? And how are you so certain? How are you so sure that there's this agenda of to turn people gay? Like, bro, just like read a book. Read a book about biology, basic biology, and like, we'll settle this once and for all. Do you know what I mean?
Just go meet some gay people.
Yeah,
that would be another thing. That just go get a gay friend, talk to them.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, like as a kid, I'm Catholic on both sides of my family. One's Irish Catholic, one's Dominican Catholic, but they're very homophobic. So I grew up listening to dancehall, which is quite homophobic music.
Yeah.
Rap is not the most gay-friendly music in the world.
Not really.
So until the age of about 28, I was quite homophobic. I can say, I was homophobic. And then I met someone at my workplace, met a guy, got talking, became really good friends. And it just so happened he likes men and I like women. But we became fast friends from working in the same place. And that was the thing that made me realize, everything that I'm thinking about, like this weird mythical gay creep, like this thing, like it doesn't. He's just a geezer. He's just a geezer like me. Works with me. The only difference is when he goes home, he lies down to somebody like not the same as me.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, both of you do the same thing. You don't lie down with the people I lie down with either. Yeah, so how is it my business? And then as soon as that little mind open, and now and from then, now I don't tolerate. You can't be homophobic around me anymore.
But again, that's perfectly expressed it. This is the thing with conspiracies, isn't it? That's the difference between like believing the hype, believing the trope, or believing the thing that's been said, and experiencing it for real life, or going and finding out yourself. And that's the perfect example, isn't it? How basically, like, you know, the two are often completely different, basically.
So different. The reality of something. And it's funny, like growing up mixed race, I have been in rooms full of white people who have said stuff about black people that I knew wasn't true. And then on the flip side, I've been in rooms full of black people saying stuff about white people that I knew wasn't true. And I'm like, how can both of you be so wrong about one another? Like, you lot should get together and be friends. The world will be a much better place. Yeah. It is really weird how people get caught up in the idea of what something is, and they put all their eggs in that basket, and it's that, and they hold on to it so tightly. And yeah, you don't have to, man. Like, your life will be a lot better if you let it go. If you just let it go, like, you'll be way happier, man. And if you concentrate on you and not that, you'll be way happier, man. Smile.
And the whole world would be if we all did it.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
That's brilliant. I'm very conscious that we've kept you for over an hour, Tony. Like, and you've got work and whatnot tomorrow. Although it's an absolute pleasure. I'd love to do this again.
Oh, please! Anytime that you lot are ready, man. Anytime. Genuinely, this has been great.
Yeah, no, definitely.
This has been great.
Is there anything that you want to plug, like your music or anything like that? Like, cause
do you know what? Yes. Go and stream the Tone and Smith Show. It's on Spotify, Apple, however you listen to your music, it's on there. And the Tone and Smith Show 2 is almost finished. So that will be coming out early next year. Watch out for my solo album coming next year.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can make it down to Stratford on Saturday, the 4th of November, we are at, hold on. If you can make it to the Queen Elizabeth, what's the West Ham football ground called? That place there. What's that there? We are celebrating East End culture, and I am battling. I'm trying to find out where it is, and I don't have that details because I'm not really a details kind of guy.
Details will be in the details on the podcast. We'll get it on there.
The time of mass propaganda.
Lovely. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you very much for having me.
Chambers and masturbates.
it's been amazing.
Who can you trust? Who can you believe? Who knows the truth? And who will dare call it conspiracy? Some dare call it conspiracy. Starring Neil Sanders and Brent Lee. After 20 years in the rabbit hole, some dare call it conspiracy is here to find out where the truth lies. Some dare call it conspiracy.